This is a very, very interesting company. So first off, read this disclaimer carefully. I am talking about the company NIO. They make electric vehicles, and many call them the Tesla of China. Here you can see some of their cars, NIO ES8, ES6 here. So very, very nice looking cars. Let's just look at one of them. This is the all new, so let's learn more. So smart electric flagship SUV. The all new ES8 boasts more than 180 product improvements, featuring a range up to 580 kilometers, NIO Pilot advanced driver assistance system, and NOMI in-car AI system. With better performance, longer range, sophisticated and high-tech design, the all-new ES8 redefines the smart electric flagship SUV. It is very important to remember how quickly China has gone from having really bad cars to really competitive cars. I mean, China, for all intents and purposes, it is an emerging market, okay? This is really good. So here is a bit about NIO. Blue sky. Our Chinese name, Why They Lie, means blue sky coming, and this is represented in our symbol. The top is about the sky, openness, vision, and the future. We're the next generation car company. Yeah, you can see that, the marketing material is definitively, if you look at the racial composition here, it is targeting, the West, for sure. Definitively. And here you can see that, they are global. Beijing, Shanghai, Munich, London, San Jose. Yeah, this is a really, really interesting company. And there are some unique benefits that NIO has that Tesla doesn't have. This is a Chinese company. The Chinese political economic system is very different from what we have in the USA. Hence, Tesla will only get that much support from the government. However, NIO, if they get into trouble, the Chinese authorities, they fully understand the strategic benefit of NIO. If NIO becomes the king of electric vehicles, that's a huge benefit. That is very bullish for NIO. So it's not like impossible that NIO will become bankrupt, but there's an extremely high likelihood that the Chinese government will go really far to help out this company. So here you have the charts. And it is tradable as an ADR on the NYSE. Ticker is NIO. So here we have the IPO, and yeah, we do have a sizable pullback. So let's measure from that high all the way to this low. That was a whopping 89% plunge. Then we have a bit of a rally. Let's just do some measurements like that. Yeah, that's almost 200%. And if we were to go from our current level to to break out above, the IPO high, that would be, 400-ish% gain. That's rather significant. From a technical, charting perspective, you could make the case that we are potentially forming a rounding bottom. One of the issues here, on the more bearish case, you see this 50-week moving average in green. It is a rather clear resistance level. That's an issue. RSI is not a problem at this point. Average true range. No, I mean, it's, not an issue either. So let's look at actually daily data points. Yes, then we can get some correlation data. So there's an 38% positive correlation between NIO and the S&P 500. Technically, we are below the 200-day moving average, but you can see that that has gone from being sharply negative to now smoothing out a bit. So there is an improvement in that moving average. The 100-day is actually gone from being negative to now being positive. So, the thing is that, is this a screaming buy? No, that's a stretch. You could also actually make the case here that we have an inverted head and shoulders pattern. So this is a messy left shoulder. Here you have a head. you kind of have a right shoulder here. I mean, from a long-term perspective, if you do want exposure to this industry, you know, electric and autonomous vehicles, well, this is a much better place to buy than here, obviously. Generally speaking, I am not a fan of buying dips and plunges, you know, except if we are talking about an industry with tremendous growth potential. I do think that electric and autonomous vehicles is one of those industries. If you compare where NIO is now, as far as you know, automobile market share, which is tiny, minuscule, to where it could be in the future, that's a huge difference. So long term, talking 5+ years, I am extremely bullish on these kinds of vehicles. So let's compare it quickly to Tesla, like that. So Tesla's chart, you know, it looks better, clearly. Let's also look at, you know, let's say that you do not want the single stock exposure, so you want to get into ETFs instead. You do have the DRIV, that's the ticker, Global X Autonomous and Electric Vehicles ETF. That gives, you know, diversification. That one has recently seen a bit of a plunge, as you can see. Let's look compare some stock markets. So here we have the S&P 500, which is, you know, that's where, you know, America, you know, Tesla is an American company. This is where you have S&P 500. Notwithstanding the recent plunge, we still are quite at an elevated level if you compare that to the FXI, which is the Chinese stock market. Now let's go way back. So this is the financial crisis, and the Chinese stock market has basically gone sideways, and we are now even towards the lower end of that consolidation range. So that is also something that you could make into, you know, a bullish case for NIO, because if the Chinese stock market was very close to like ultimate all-time highs, it could be more of a problem. But there's many investors that could look at this and compare it to the USA and see more value in China. So that was some of the charts. So let's go out of there. Let's look at some technicals. So here we have from Yahoo Finance. So the market cap here of NIO is $3 billion US. So there's some size. You can also see here that, what other numbers? Yeah, we do have fair value here. No, it is overvalued. Okay, but the fair value is overvalued. So the company is overvalued, that is. Here we have the analyst recommendations. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's around the 3-hold, slightly towards the more underperform side. Here are the analyst price targets. So currently NIO is trading at $2.73. The average price target is $22-ish. That's a huge difference. So this is definitively rather interesting. So here you can also get a bunch of other like data here, like statistics. You can get historical data, financials, options. Let's look at options. There are actually options here for NIO. That's cool. So that's another, you know, way to trade. And you can see here on the volume and the open interest is actually rather good. If you go to Saks.com, they actually do have a number to buy on NIO. F value score, but A growth and D momentum. No dividend. This is interesting. Let's compare this to Tesla. Look at Tesla. Tesla, yeah, also F value, A growth, but Tesla has a 3-hold here from Saks. So yeah, NIO, it is a very interesting company in a very interesting sub-industry. Autonomous electric vehicles is something that I am very bullish on in the long term. As far as the charts go, well, we did look at NIO. It is, it's seen a very sizable pullback. The situation with the virus. It is not done. It hasn't, really gone through. One of the paradoxes of having the lockdown is that the virus has not really gone through the world. And remember, it all started with one person. Hence, the virus could put a lot of pressure on the markets for the foreseeable future. Then again, this is an opportunity to get into an industry with huge growth potential on a stock in a very interesting company in a very interesting country that is currently trading at an historically very low price. Whatever you do, of course, you want to let the trend be your friend.